Hi, I know I look like crap. My name is Tiffany Browning, and I'm the one that's an Echelon member that was detached from the Echelon people in here when I saw the stars, alright? I just made a video earlier, and I was bawling my eyes out, and now I can't cry because I have law enforcement or whoever it is in my face. But I was bawling my eyes out because I'm sitting here waiting for my good news letter or my phone call or whatever to say that I can be partners with these people that, reside up here in the U.S., whatever we're not saying. I'm an Echelon member, regardless of what you want to say. The reason why all these millions of dollars are being made up here is because Tiffany Browning is who she is on the ground. We gave her a CPS helmet up here through the sky to protect her kids and everybody else because she was put on an illegal chain, and one of the people that were on her chain was a molester. She should never be on a fucking chain where you can get killed in a game and your life ruined and you set up to look like something you're not for ownership of nothing. Because those people over there that are trying to own this documentation in the FBI or the CIA or whoops, that's not them doing it. It's the DEA and the cops. All right, they're being the ones trying to do this through AK or Anthony C as his line over there because he was an informant. Okay. Anyways, the FBI technologies might have been invaded up here as far as them being able to push things through to the judges or whatever in that way, and that's where cybersecurity comes in. I'm the one who turned in the whole Game of Thrones and everything else to Vancouver up here, and I told him how that the game worked from LaShawn accidentally putting me in here years ago, right, on a game for being an administrative assistant. But really, I was already in here because I looked through AK's phone. He would see me on my phone. So he had my picture in here in this alternate universe already and could look through my eyes or whatever it was or wasn't. And they called me a porn star and tried to make fun of me and shit because some stupid shit they were doing in this alternate universe where they wore bodies and did stupid porn shit or whatever. Anyways, I'm a freaking mom. I've never been in trouble in my life, and I turned it in here in this realm up here, and we don't even know if it goes to the ground. But anyways, point is, I had to do it in Washington State, and I said that the Secret Service was my deity program partner because we're in Washington State, and this is a $1,000,000,000,000 industry. But anyways, besides that, it's not FBI stuff that we are using. This is UE stuff up here in Washington State. And it's with women and stuff like that who protect children and everything else who got messed up in here because these boys were wearing our bodies for sex and everything else. And it was attaching it to these kids, making it seem like stuff happened to them. And I don't know how my kid came in here a bunch of times as a little girl and a little boy or whatever. Right. But these people had to adopt these kids. They were Anunnaki kids. Anyways, that's a long story from a long time ago. The point is that your system in the FBI directory or whatever was not necessarily the one infiltrated. It's just that you guys were the ones supporting it. And you don't even know what the truth is either, unless you're a UE member like Tiffany over here, where we have the helmet and we know who to put it on and how to prove it. Because just because you can see a video, right, on your phone that looks like somebody did something that they didn't do, or maybe it's a reflection of somebody on the ground now from back then or whatever, it's like a picture-in-picture situation, doesn't mean that it happened. And these people were setting people up for child abuse and everything. And they told me they set me up for child abuse because I put Red Devil Boy voice up here in somebody else's folder who had M cases, meaning, pink jumpsuits or they hurt children, child abuse. It was a guy. But he was on a chain of 5 people, and all 5 of them set us up in here to get child abuse cases on us that made it look like we hurt our kids in the past because the other 4 people didn't know that that one guy had child abuse charges on him. And it's a retaliation thing in here in this game. And somehow or another, it ended up getting forced to the judges or whatever they're saying. And I don't even know if they use me or somebody else or whatever, but I can hear the judges talking about it through my earphone from what I said over there in Oregon, that I needed to file a complaint to them about people stealing my identity online. Well, what I was talking about was them stealing my identity as a UE member. Okay. And I just wasn't allowed to say that, and they didn't call me back. I would have been able to explain it to the person, but I've never been in trouble and I don't do criminal activity. And when I lived at that Cora Street apartment, I left 2 years ago because of what this is, this exact situation where they can look through your eyes and do shit illegally and set you up for failure or watch you have sex or whatever. I've had a million trillion people in my face. Okay, back and forth, back and forth. The point is that if you're in here and you know that this is the situation, you can put a helmet on these people and find out that they're the ones that set us up because you can hear their thoughts. Not just that, but you might be able to watch a video that shows, somebody axe murdering someone, right? That didn't happen in real life, or maybe beating a kid to death or slapping them or whatever, right? From back then. and it looks like it was them back then. But if you're in here and you know what to do, you can put the helmet on yourself and them, and you can see who set them up. There should not be anybody else in that kid or that person that you're looking at. And every single thing that they set me up for in here has somebody else in it. You might not be able to see it right here in the photo, but you can see it on the other side in the other dimension who set her up. And it's true. Okay, now this is different people talking. I'm sorry I look like shit. But anyways, I'm just sick and tired of not getting my money because these people in here gave a mom who's innocent, who's never hurt anyone in her entire life, and who moved across the bridge 2 years ago and got this membership with the CIA and everything else over here, saw the stars and got disconnected from her UE member up here that was supposed to help her from the upper echelon get a car and function or whatever and get disconnected properly. Back then, this was 2 summers ago when they set this up. Okay. 2 summers ago when they submit transmission for Breakfast Club or whatever, and then everything else they did recently with the back of the hand thing, they did that through my eyes and through my stuff. They unrolled on my Tiffany Ciez Facebook, and they ruined my life in here and everywhere else. And they killed me in the game because we were saying that we own this S corporation over here, and it was me and a bunch of women, the ones who gave me the ISTEM codes for the CPS over there in Arizona or whatever, whoever it wasn't. Okay, and they're syndicates basically, and the Palomidor, Preliminador, whatever it's called, and there is Secret Service women and CIA women in here that are above my head. It's just that they have not been able to say anything because it's FBI right below them. And below that, it's dirty cops. And the dirty cops are not the ones to fuck with because they're the same ones that are submitting transmissions on everybody else, making them look like they did shit they didn't do to cover up for their ass so that nobody will validate their opinions or whatever. But this is a $1 trillion industry, not just proving our innocence, but we have went over and above their tattletale bullshit because they use my eyes illegally for the last 2 years just to follow people and stuff and get them in trouble for stuff that they didn't even do because they didn't realize they were not looking at the people on the ground. They were looking at other people on line 1, that people were in their bodies. Okay, it's an alternate universe where people are not supposed to be like that. It's only supposed to be judges and cops above you keeping an eye on you if you were in fact being followed for something that they thought you did, like abusing a child or whatever currently. And they do informant stuff, but I don't think it's okay. They said they don't do it through your eyes. They only do it through listening devices. But in this alternate universe, they can set you up too with listening devices and written down content from people talking smack in here. They've put it on situations where they're like, yeah, I did that to my kids when I was younger. Or, yeah, I hurt my aunt when I was little, or whatever it was that they were saying. And we can prove our innocence. And it's for a lot of people in here that also got set up for going against evil force over there in Portland or whoever he isn't. And they keep saying Reynolds or Broussard or something like that. And I don't even know if his body on the ground knows what's going on. But he's the one that was over there in court, basically in here, forcing this through to the judges because apparently he thought this happened, but it didn't. I'm not the one that hurt anyone. I was the one going against Anthony Ciez's team because they're the ones who said in my brainstems, I'm going to kill your kid in jail or I'm going to hurt your son in jail if you do not let me watch you in AK. And I'm like, I'm not letting you watch us at all. You got me fucked up. I used to do drugs and I used to have sex, and every single time I had sex, I felt guilty because I'm not married and I never wanted to be watched, listened to, recorded, or written down. And I said it 1,000 fucking times over there in Portland. 1,000 times I said it. Meanwhile, I'm sitting on my bed and they would be in my head, lulling me out to where I can't function. I'm just sitting here because it's another one thinking, and another one thinking, and another one thinking, and another one thinking. Okay? So with that being said, here's this again. Hopefully you can see it in here, in the alternate reality. And this is for Judge Mathis, who is going to court up here for Soraya and Sal and Tony. Not doing that either. Because in this alternate universe, when they were setting Tiffany up back then, they set Sal and Tony up real time, making it look like they did stuff too. And they said that Sal actually got arrested in here twice for it, but it wasn't him, and they were able to prove it back then. But I don't know if they submitted transmission with that in it down to the judge. Just when they killed my player, when I'm not even a player, it was other guys in here that they were trying to kill. And not just that, but they red burnt me with Chinese cocktail in the back of my brainstems so that I'm dying. I'm literally dying for this connection because it's so amazing and making all this money with my blue life force and everything that I've invented in the upper echelon up here, which is not FBI at all. It's a bunch of other stuff with like medical advancements, technological advancements, and how we helped the president and how we went in every single state and we told them like where the scary people are and all this stuff that could like really kill you, and the ones with like grenades and shit that they shouldn't have and stuff like that. And then how we can infiltrate the country from different ways. I can't even get into it, but anyways, it's really tight for the United States Homeland Security Department, saying that was Tiffany's upper echelon eye mixed in with the FBI in it. So there's blue on one side and then the UE helmet on this side, which is what helps us read minds and stuff up here. of our assailant or our person on the ground, our perpetrator, or whatever they're doing, because that's people that are investigating crimes literally on the ground that have happened in real life. And these CIA people up here thought that they were watching these people on the ground do these crimes and that this was really happening, but it wasn't, because my level had been lifted up one level too high because I saw the stars. And because I saw the stars, it made thousands and thousands of brain stems and different things go a bunch of different ways. And Japan made Robotrons to keep me alive on the ground, and our UE members up here in the sky, because Cairo, Syria was the son of the person. Anyways, it gets complicated. But anyways, I have proof up here in the stars of ownership and everything. But the thing is I've never been in trouble, so I don't have like a cop to call or a DEA to call or an FBI agent to call. So I can be like, okay, guess what? We're submitting transmission right now or whatever, so that we can be rich for this program. Not just that, but we need somebody to come in here from the ground that knows about it to be able to take control of the evil people that have been setting people up illegally for a game or whatever they're doing, because they've ruined lives of people. Like my friend Tuan, who was not in here, he's a black guy. They set him up because of jealousy and other stuff. I can't even tell you how bad it is, because he was not the one in here doing anything either. And whatever they said about him, he's not gay, whatever. They also set up my son Elijah because some other guy that had charges on him was wearing his body and their names were 11 or whatever. And it's just messed up, dude. It gets really, really complicated. But I have plausible deniability for all my friends. Anyways, the point is I've never been in trouble. And right now in the sky, you're trying to persecute this woman named Tiffany Browning, who's taking a stand against this scary man who literally threatened my son's life to let them watch me have sex with AK back then 2 years ago. I left my whole entire apartment behind, my car and everything, to get away from it, because my landlord said, okay, you're caught up on whatever rent through COVID assistance and everything. You should just leave by the first of the year because of what's happening in here. I'm on a call. I'll talk to you in a minute, okay? Anyway, so I left the whole entire life behind, my apartment, my clothes, my everything, okay? And that was blue permission for her doing her brain cancer treatment down here on the ground, which she can't even do. By the way, like when I do a vape pen hit, I'm synergized with these people, and you might not believe me either, but they can not just infiltrate your computer system, but they can infiltrate your brain the way I'm connected. And it is part of what's making $1 trillion with my power source being an infinity statement through the UE up here. And it's not for dirty cops. It's not for kids playing games or setting people up for Game of Thrones or watching people illegally or nothing. Not to mention the CPS helmet that makes us read minds up here in La La Land. They loved it in the pervert town because they could read the thoughts of the woman or whatever they were trying to mess with, right? But those women have kids attached to them, and those women never gave permission for them to use their bodies up here either. So their kids up here are hearing or thinking stuff or whatever that they're not supposed to be hearing or seeing, and they didn't even know that that's how that was happening. So that's how that happened, and that saved the whole zipper court case thing. It was a zipper court case thing from happening because Tiffany was down here sticking up for the same people that look like they set her up and everything. And it's just messed up because it did not happen to these women or anybody else either in real life. And they've never hurt their kids, but they literally went back in time trying to hurt Tiffany, make her think or make them think that she did something that she didn't do, because they were pissed off that they were called a molester in here, because they were our bodies with our situation up here where my UE member, anyways, had kids attached to it. And they told me that they had hurt my daughter, Soraya, in her dream book in a molesty way. It was a guy, right? So it's because my UE member that had my helmet on up here was related to my daughter up here. And I don't even know if it was Tiffany's daughter. It was a different one, but they always say it through my mouth like it's me to stick up for the people that are in here. So I told them it wasn't anybody that I know or had seen in the last whatever. I knew that for a fact. And I stole my mom's car and I went and checked on my daughter to make sure that she didn't think anything bad happened to her in her dream book when she was sleeping or whatever. When I was at my mom's house, I literally woke up with this helmet on, right? And I could see 5 different people in my face feeling like they were looking at my private parts when I was sleeping in a pervert way. And I look over at my daughter and she sits up and she goes, go over there. And I see the same 5 people in her face, meaning I had a UE helmet on, not just one, but like 5 different of them on when they were using our bodies illegally for sex or whatever they were doing. And those thoughts could have been going into my daughter about what happened in her dream book. I don't know. They said they protected her with red devil boy voices keyword for that back then, because that's who set her up. Okay. And yeah, when you're in here, you can look at the video and you can see that there's other people in there, in the kids and in the adult. You might not be able to see it right away, but if you come over here to this portion measurement, look for London or France or Deity Program or LaShawn Plumpett or Tiffany Browning in Vancouver, Washington, who was set up through Evil Force over here. And Katrina Howard is one that was set up too. And Ashley Service was set up and a bunch of other people. And Mandy, whatever her last name is, lives over here too. She was not set up. She's against me on the game, I guess. But anyways, This is a huge thing. It's a huge lawsuit because not only did they kill this woman down here on the ground, and I'm a police officer over here in Portland, and I don't know if this is happening either, but they've read my mind, and I'm sitting here wondering why they're reading my mind when I'm not the one watching this case or nothing. But they're trying to read my mind and influence my mind that this really happened in real life to this girl named Tiffany when she didn't get killed either. They were trying to kill her so that she could change her identity in here, but she didn't get killed. And she doesn't want to get killed because she's a good mom. She just doesn't have a car. And she was set up online in the judicial system and everything because they killed her player for ownership of the S Corporation. And it literally is an S Corporation that is supposed to be for law enforcement people. It's just that they were letting the wrong cops or the wrong guys on the street run it for Game of Thrones, which is the sex thing, and then change your identity. And Tiffany is the one that killed out and smashed out the game of Bones, where you do have to kill your player and ruin their identity and trash what's called being burnt, right? And you can submit transmission and float charges over them and then pin all these charges on them. And then they have to run for the law for the rest of their life. And it's so messed up because I'm a girl who's never been in trouble and I'm a mom and they didn't know that I was a mom and they weren't supposed to put me on the chopping block to take charges for anybody or none of that. But when I found out about it, I didn't have a choice. I just had to let them float them above me or whatever. And they were supposed to protect me and everything. And the UE up here even said, Tiffany, you're exonerated from everything, especially this child abuse case, because we know what happened up here. But the problem is they didn't know that I got disconnected because they cheated, I guess, somehow. Because the evil people in the law department or whatever were taking over on the bottom level, and I got disconnected because I saw the stars. So it started making a whole bunch of different levels and anything. Anyway, Empress Division was Tiffany's. They gave her the nickname Tiffany because they ruined my identity as T-Bunny back then, looking like a slut and stuff in here, and passed around STDs or whatever they were doing in our bodies. And they've given me brain cancer. I have brain cancer on the ground, and I'm literally bleeding out of my pee hole. I'm a mom, an innocent person who loves her kids and is a good person and has never hurt her kids or anybody else ever. And it's not just child abuse, beating their kids or whatever they're saying that they set them up for in here. They set them up for a bunch of other stuff, trying to make them look bad to validate their point that it wasn't who they had on their team or whatever. Okay, so there's a point of measurement that talks about my old apartment. I moved from there 2 years ago, right? And it turned into a flop house. My best friend, AK, got it reopened or whatever, so some person named Tanika could live there for a little while. Then she got arrested and for something that she didn't do either in real life, like a gun when the guy, Slappy Happy, the same one that broke my nose when I went back there to get some of my stuff, because he said I killed his dog, because the game killed his dog. And the game has killed other people too on accident because of the way I'm connected. So they're not supposed to be playing anymore or hurting anybody or setting anybody up, because this is a magic situation up here where it's literally millions and millions of dollars. And I keep talking about the money because that's what they're all after. They're after not just the report card, but they're after the money. And they've already stolen like at $300 and $450,000 out of my deity account up here to go to Portland and a bunch of other places. Well, they have not helped me on the ground at all. I have no car. I have no money. They've set me up all over the internet, and I'm a good fucking person. And I did send this to the Channel 2 News, and I'm turning in all these people up here. They won't give me their names in real life, but these are the people that are the FBI pissed off that Tiffany offered them a partnership when she called them saying that they infiltrated their system. Right. They might have infiltrated your system in Oregon, but I'm in Washington. And this stuff over here, the UE benefits up here, was not Oregon stuff. This was against Oregon and against Oregon's FBI, who were not protecting Tiffany because of what they were saying about her over there. Because the FBI in Oregon was sitting on my head, literally sitting on my head, doing their investigations on different lines, having different women run through my face, telling me they're doing different things and they're doing these different codes and different situations or whatever, and getting points for it or whatever. But they didn't help me out at all. They didn't fix my record. Big Voice in the Sky said, you're supposed to fix Tiffany Browning's record with Tony Brown and Sal Cortez because they are both the moms of Soraya Rain, and neither one of them did anything at all. Tiffany did drugs for a few years, but she left that life, crossed the bridge to be a better mom to her daughter because she knew that she was getting lulled out every day, sitting there staring at piles of clothes where she couldn't think, and they weren't supposed to follow her over here. All to be a better mom because her daughter was only a little girl when she left and got put out on the streets because after 14 years of being in a relationship, Sal and Tiffany broke up, and then he moved in with Tony, and Tiffany was homeless and started doing drugs, and got trapped in that stupid sex thing where you can't go against whatever the people above you are making you feel and threaten your life about not telling or not saying anything. Like you can't call the cops on whoever it was that broke into the office or whatever the fuck happened there. And then when you see big buckets of bullets and stuff like that are illegal, you get really scared when your friend's already been shot by somebody and you witness a murder and all kinds of stuff. So this is a whole bunch of stuff. But anyways, I'm a good person and I look like shit, so it's hard to say this, but to me to do any of this stuff, and I'm one of the persons that set her up here because evil force or whoever it is making us set her up, and Tuan, and I didn't set her up because I'm not in here, but somebody's using his body setting her up too. And we do have proof on the ground between LaShawn Clumpett, Anthony Ciaz, Katrina Howard, somebody named JJ, Tuan, somebody named Backyard Window, and everything else about this Game of Thrones and how it has ruined people's lives in real life. And we're going to turn them in if they do not stand up for Tiffany like a motherfucker. The guy that's in charge over there in the DEA or whatever, the one who keeps getting pissed off that he's not on Tiffany's team over here because he's the one that set her up over there in Portland when she called because he was pissed off about the ownership of the S Corporation. He did not know she was a UE member and that we were paying attention up here in the sky. We were just waiting to see if he was going to do the right thing and let her talk to her friend Tuan or whatever to crown him king or whatever so that they could take the porn shit somewhere different because they were using her brainstems and everything magic for porn and everything else over here. So they keep calling him Rashard or Ray Reynolds, but I do not know what their real names are at all because I looked up both those names and I couldn't find them. Anyway, my name is Carrie Nugent, so to speak, and I did not know Tiffany did not do this either. And I'm a judge over here in Arizona. One of the women that put the helmet on Tiffany was my associate, and it was blocking somebody else in here from seeing their kids. And it was not Tiffany's kids either because it was not Tiffany's player who was up here. It was Katrina's because they put Katrina, AK, and somebody named Tuan on Tiffany's body as a sweater to come in here and play the game or whatever they were doing. And the people whose body they put on her, they never told them that they put her body on. And Tiffany never told anybody either because she thought it was for a good thing. And then she found out later it was for some stupid shit or whatever. But it may or may not have impacted them in a wrong way too. But Tiffany is the only one who's ever gotten backwards dream books or optical illusions from the sky, from us, and from the people that put the bodies on her illegally. And she literally did lay down and get scanned in by the UE computer where you can feel it going up your body and down, up and down, and it was backwards. So one of the bodies was facing the other way, and that's part of the reason why this has made so much money up here, but it's also given Tiffany brain cancer. She gets these big, huge white scabs on the top of her head from too much electricity and microwaves going in and out of her brain stems, and we're constantly fixing her body electronically and everything. She's the black cat person where they went and they did recon and everything. It's hard to explain. They ingrained it on her floor to stick up for Tiffany on Endgame because they had a feeling they were going to set her up because of what was up here, because she was against them looking through her eyes and originally for the sex shit or whatever, and she was trying to get her pervert friends out of the sex part of it without saying anything because they all wanted to turn them in for using our bodies illegally and all this other stuff. Because they could sit in your body on the ground like informants or whatever, like judges, and watch you have sex with your partner. And if they have the UE helmet on, all the people up here can get off at the same time, like they're watching a porn virtually, and it's illegal to do that. And if Tiffany was in an FBI office or something like that with virtual reality that could tap into one of these worlds, she would be a millionaire, trillionaire instantly, because she knows what's going on in here and how to fix it. And it's her iStem codes through the sky up here that have been $1 million baby up here that we use up here, but we can't do it from the ground because we're not Tiffany. If I sit on the ground level and go in here virtual reality, it doesn't help me at all because I don't have them on the ground. But in here, virtual reality helps us up here. So we're trying to find a touchdown base, and she's the one. This is the one down here who wants to make a difference and stop the mark of the beast from happening like they gave it to Tiffany, because she literally is connected to the beast computer where they can read your mind and change your social security number and everything and ruin your life. And the biggest thing is that although her iStem codes are amazing help up here, it's not really helping from the ground up because she's not working for anybody. Virtual reality. That's the biggest thing. And she was like, oh my God, I just thought about this. So they're looking through people's eyes in prison, right? Because they all had mugshots. Well, what about if they do the same thing with all the DOL pictures? They break into the DOL and they start doing that and stealing their identities and all this shit. Because once you've done that, I mean, I can't even get into it. It's so illegal. So it was like Paramount insurance situation was part of it, but it was also a global threat. And I did call Interpol and everybody else and notified them about being my partner or whatever so that they could all alert themselves about this. And hopefully they can all join in up here and everywhere else to stand up for Tiffany, who has never hurt another human being on the planet in her life. Her power source on the ground was a magic one with the sideways figure eights because she saw the stars and we had to make it that way so that she could stay alive. And she was the first one to ever copy one power source to another human being in here after she stabbed somebody from the alternate universe who had killed a kid. But then they felt bad instantly and they fixed his body really quick. And in here, your spirit can pop out and then you're pissed because you can never really necessarily be put back in a body unless you do it a special way. But anyway, when people get killed for the wrong reasons and they go to hell or whatever, their spirits go to hell, they can be let out and they can come up in another person and drive their train to do bad stuff. And they're just pissed the fuck off that they died in the first place because they can't no longer reach their body on the ground and know what's going on the ground if they're actually getting arrested or getting in trouble or whatever. So it's a crazy situation. But I do need help. I do need help. I need somebody to be my partner on the ground to give me my money because they kill me in the game. Not just that. Not only do I just have brain cancer, my kidneys are failing. All right, I'm bleeding out of my pee hole and everything from too many microwaves going through my body 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The DEA said that when you're on this probation or whatever, you're supposed to do it for like 2 hours a day where you log into the computer system and you do whatever you do and then you log out. So you pickpocket and you whatever, right? So basically they're looking through your eyes like once or twice a day or whenever they do it. And that's it. Otherwise, you can get brain cancer and stuff. Well, Tiffany has been in here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 2 years. And it's not just her doing it. It's everybody else doing it too through her brain stems on different lines of communication that doesn't even reach the ground necessarily because they think that they're reaching ground level 1, but it's not. These people have all been brought up to a syndicate level. So like the whole world has been brought up. Like right now up here, they can bring my apartment up, right? But me and my mom will stay down here. Our bodies won't come up here. A copy of our bodies won't come up here because we already have people anchored on a chain in our bodies. My mom's illegally like that because she's never been in trouble and she shouldn't have somebody having a body on her, nothing, let alone influencing her judgment or who I am in real life, like a piece of shit daughter who can't work when I'm supposed to work. And I've tried to get jobs and everything, but I don't have a freaking car because they let AK ruin it. Now, the cops said, the ones that were involved in the Game of Thrones or whatever, the cops said they gave this girl in here $40,000 to replace whatever they gave AK because that was supposed to go to Tiffany to get a car and get her life fixed over here and whatever. Anyway, the whole point was to get her disconnected and start her life over again because Big Voice in the sky said everything will be different once you go home. And they did send me home. But instead, they gave it to Anthony Ciaz and not me. And I did throw the coins at him because I needed to just do that because they weren't mine. So they gave the money to somebody in here. And I don't even know if it goes to the ground or not, but it's supposed to go into a bank account for Tiffany Browning. And I don't have a bank account because they messed up my credit in here. I tried to apply for a Chime card and it just goes round and round and round and round and round and round and round. All I have is a green dot card and you can only put $3,000 on it at once. And I don't know how many people are going to see this, but will you please think about it if you're a mom or dad? Okay, can you tell you? Because we all feel so bad. Because we do not know if this goes to the ground or not, okay? About what this is up here and how she's rich and how she's saving 1,000 million people. And this was Tiffany's idea with us. And it was too part of the FBI in Portland. They were just ashamed that they just let her fucking stay here and rot for this whole time when they knew she was being set up the whole time. Some of them didn't hear. Or maybe they couldn't reach their bodies on the ground, but the thing is that they didn't just set up Tiffany. They set up Tony and Sal and everybody else trying to make them all look like bad people with no repercussions or whatever. And then they came in here and tried to make it look like Tiffany was setting them up to make it look like something different, bro. But anyways, like we said in here, if you come in here, you can prove it 1,000 times that this did not happen to Tiffany's kids at all. And Tiffany hasn't lived with her daughter at all. And all this stuff was done in the last 2 fucking years. Just think about it. First of all, you're watching a video, right? Of something that happened a long time ago, like 10 years ago, maybe. Like, really, it doesn't make sense because it didn't happen 10 years ago, especially if I look like this, because this is how I look now, and I didn't look like this back then. It's just ridiculous because we can do the same thing to the cops and everybody else, they said, to get them back for setting Tiffany up, because this one knew for a fact Tiffany didn't do that. He just wanted to own it, and his name was Travis or some shit. Travis, I don't know, irony. Kroger. We need help. We need help up here, and Tiffany needs help in real life. They owe her money. The cops owe her money. The informants division owes her money, and she could probably log into some kind of system. It's just depressing because when you log into the system, someone else is with you, like a DEA or whatever, and then they get your body up here and can look through your eyes. All right. But they are already looking through Tiffany's eyes on all these levels. All of these submit transmissions and stuff that they've been doing over there to the law for the game or whatever else was done through Tiffany's iStem codes with her magic power source, which is also a setup in progress. So they're over there living high off the hog or whatever, making all this money in the sky and or on the ground. And they've already, like I said, they've already taken like trillions of dollars out of her deity program up here. And my name is Corporal Admiral Peace Stain Pillowcase, sort of. And we're the ones that were sticking up for Tiffany on Thanksgiving, though they made it look like we didn't at the end. And Tiffany does have the right to bear arms because she's never been in trouble, but she doesn't want to be seen naked on the internet either. And when you come down here, she does look naked because they put her on a power source from a 666 Mafia situation where they used to sit there and make fun of her. And it's so traumatizing when you think about this mom who's a good fucking mom and never heard her kids set up. That was the whole point. Imagine if you're a parent, right? And somebody doesn't like you. And they have no way to get a hold of you or ruin your life because you went against the evil force or whatever they were in the DEA or whatever they were. You went against them saying you're not allowed to use my eyes to set people up because I'm not a rat tail and I've never done anything wrong. I don't hurt people like everybody else that surrounded me over there at that apartment. And they get pissed. So then they set you up, right? But you're a parent. And they don't have any way to set you up like, oh, she does criminal activity because everybody knows that you've never done criminal activity. So they go back in time and make it look like you beat your kids. And they have the CPS people call 911 or whatever. And it doesn't even make sense, but it goes down into a thing up here that people did call. And affidavits were signed that they saw stuff happening that didn't fucking happen in real life. That's why Tiffany was like, you can't go back in time at all because back in time, you can go back in time to prove innocence, but you can't do it to prove guilt because people set people up in here hella. But once again, in here, when you're a UE member, if you have our brainstem helmet on, and this stuff that was done against Tiffany was done on her brainstem and her calculations, okay? So we've said it 1,000 times. She's exonerated from all this, but still, we don't know if this went down to the judges or not. It is to Tiffany that won the last election in August, and they unrolled on her with a Kraus on it and a JPEG file. They also said back then that Tiffany was an online slut and a bunch of other stuff that she wasn't, making her look gross and everything else. Well, I'm not in there being a slut, and I don't want to be a slut. It's against my religion for people to see me naked that are not my husband. And it is so bad because they are literally sending pictures and videos to people, these evil people that want ownership of this situation. They're literally sending pictures and videos to people of stuff that didn't happen, and we're not sure if it's going to the ground or not. But it is so illegal. And I mean, just imagine though, man. Imagine if you were a fucking mom. I've never hurt another person on the planet ever on purpose, ever. Okay, ever on purpose. Like, I don't do criminal activity. I didn't do what they did over there on Court Street or whatever around me. I just sat in my room and minded my business while you guys did your stuff through my brain stems. Yeah, I did drugs. I did needles, and I drank a half a fifth a day. Every single day. I hated my life because the best friend that I had controlled it. He would not let me go anywhere. He would not let me be friends with anybody. And he ruined my car every single time that I would see anybody else. Either that or he would destroy my room. He would throw my shit everywhere. He'd break my stuff. And it was like an abusive ass relationship, controlling as hell, where he had multiple girlfriends and shit, and he treated me like shit, but he's telling everybody else I'm just his best friend. Yeah, I'm his best friend, letting him get away with being a player, but that's it. But he was supposed to pay me back for my car, and he didn't, and I'm a mom. He fucked my life up. And so did these evil people over there. And they said Anthony Cia's name was burnt because he did porn or whatever it wasn't. But still, it wasn't even him in here doing it. And he doesn't even know necessarily that people have this alternate universe exists where they have lifelines and stuff like that. He just knows that cops or whoever looks through his eyes. But it was to AK that said, I want to have sex with you both orgasm at the same time. And I'm like, I'm not having sex with you, polygamist. I'm not going to sit here and do this out loud. People are watching through my eyes, and they're UE members. These are women and people that are attached to children. And if I was to have sex with him, they could feel it too. Because we're all UE connected to each other. And it's not just UE, it's random people too. And it's messed up. Oh, yeah. Okay. So when I saw the stars, I dehydrated from the inside out. Okay. There's a bracelet. That's part ownership properties in here. That's my weed thing saying he loves you. I love you too, Twan. Anyway, whatever I was going to say. And LaShawn, people. I can't even tell you how bad this is. Okay, so yeah, I saw the stars, and you're not going to understand this either, but I saw the stars. Okay, so I'm sitting there watching TV. You have all these UE members on top of you and some FBI, or maybe it was bad guys watching porn through our Sidewinders, which is a UE membership helmet. Okay, you can look down like Tiffany can, and you can see into another universe or another life or another whatever. And let me tell you, that metal world was the trippiest thing, and I can't even get on chupacabra people who don't like kids. And they don't like kids because of the sex thing over here. So it's ingrained in their brains that you're not allowed to be a mom on the chopping block or anyone who's set up because their kids can be affected by this. And it does have to do with the helmet. All right, so Tiffany has a UE member that lived in Ohio. She wasn't really FBI. She was something different, like a CPS worker kind of or something. And she got discommunicated from her community of measurement because she wasn't able to prove her innocence either, because she slept with somebody in here in an alternate universe who had bad child abuse cases because they were really, really good at hiding who they were in here. And I'm the one that got the permission slip from Germany to further develop this software to not invade my privacy or not invade anybody else's privacy or not look through our eyes or sit with us while we have sex and all this stuff illegally, and to help, the CIA above them that aren't trying to set people up. Because I don't believe in being a rodent or rat or informant at all. Because if you're going to freaking sell drugs, why are you allowed to sell drugs and set people up? It's bullshit. It's messed up. I can't even stand it. I can't stand it. Okay, it's so bad, and it puts hits on people's life. So, anyways, is there anything else? No. So my name, I can't tell you who my name is, but I am one of those cops over there in Portland. And I was the one that was against Tiffany too for the sex stuff, because she was on our team forever up here saying that she loves us and everything with the horns. And she did love us, and she's not saying anything bad about them. But anyways, they don't want to get in trouble for it either, because in here they make it seem like it's okay or whatever, and it kind of is if it's in here only. But the thing is that these people up here have no idea if it goes all the way to the ground or not. Either way, the connection is not supposed to be like that, and we're not really persecuting any of them necessarily either. It's just the evil ones, right? And Callahan, or whatever his name isn't, that came down the pipeline, he was the last one to fold on Tiffany 2 years ago in the game, because he was standing up for Tiffany because he knew she had been set up. And I was one of the people that was like, oh yeah, I get your pervertness, whatever. We're just trying to end it being from the ground level or whatever. Because on this side, they're making fun of Tiffany, saying, you're so gross, you're so gross. You think you're so tight or whatever. You have STDs and all this shit. You're spreading around the internet. And I'm like, dude, I'm not the one sleeping around in there. These are other people using my magic bodies in here because of how I was scanned in. And we all had STDs because we have skins on. And they used a hoe that was actually a hooker and a bunch of other stuff with bodies mixed in, their chemical bodies. And it's just crazy. I'm not crazy. Okay, this is a real thing. And the FBI and the CIA and everybody's watching. And I hope you guys get this message. Tiffany is innocent. Okay, my name is Patsy Cline over here. And that's not a real name. But I'm a judge and I'm a worker and I'm CPS and everything else. So this is Tiffany. I'm Soraya's mom, the one that was set up. Sal and Tony were set up too in the past, and it looked like Sal got arrested, but he didn't in real life. This did not happen to them in real life at all, not recently or anywhere. They also said that my friend Lana Stone got set up and everybody else. But the thing is that they didn't get set up. They were using their bodies illegally in here. They were using the women's bodies illegally. And because of the CPS helmet that Tiffany had put on her player up here to protect the kids from whoever that was, a guy, it went on all these other people too. And that's how they were able to read minds about what they wanted in the boom boom room. So they didn't necessarily know it was illegal to do that because nobody said it, because the UE was not on their side over there. They were over here. And Tiffany's been hearing stuff on both sides of the fence this whole time. This is a $1 trillion industry, blah, 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 blah. But the main thing is Tiffany needs a contact point on the ground. She has already contacted the Channel 2 News and a bunch of other people. And yes, evil anarchy, evil cops, and evil DEA over there. We have your socials and everything. All right. I've contacted Interpol, legit. I also contacted foreign nations to be on our team over here with the wheat on it for Homeland Security support and everything else. And they are definitely on our team for all of this millions of dollars up here, how it's going to make our country be able to give money to the other countries and be friends with everyone. Because I am scared of the mark of the beast. By the way, the mark of the beast is this fucking system. It's where they can infiltrate your brain and turn you into somebody that you're not. Rather, they put you on a chain and it's somebody else living through you up here, like end up hurting your kids, like beating them or being mean to them or making them feel unconscious or subconscious or whatever they're saying. It's just fucked up. Because I've seen my friends that played the Game of Thrones, I've seen them turn into a completely different person, like my best friend or whatever. We'll be sitting there kicking it, and he knows I kissed this guy and he wasn't tripping, and all of a sudden he's like, let me see your phone. I'm all, why? So you can start problems? And he's all, no, just let me see it. So I let him see it. He goes back into messages from 2 years ago, and evil force or whoever's sitting in his body, it's making him look bad. Or they're just trying to find a reason to kick me out, right? And so they throw this big fit, and he takes me to the freaking airport and drops me off with no ticket and no money or no nothing after they had just set me up for some other bullshit, trying to make me have sex out loud when I didn't want to. And no, I don't do needles, and I don't think it's okay to do needles online or anything. I gave up that 2 years ago to be a better mom and get away from this exact program that they're in my brain with. So anyways, please help. I'm a good person. 360-360 6815 or 360-947-0698. Those are my mom's numbers and my numbers temporarily, and you guys need to take them off the do not call list, because this is not a fucking game anymore, and we are all sticking up for Tiffany Browning right now. And this is the UE. The UE is CPS and CIA. We don't even want the FBI involved because they are the ones that are trying to humiliate Tiffany and everything else right now for everything that she said on her Facebook in the background. When it was not Tiffany saying anything back there at all, it was us saying it because we were not the ones that set them up. It was somebody else saying it. All right. Nobody else said anything that it's okay to use bad language or STD talk or whatever this is in the sex terms or whatever, because it was not Tiffany saying it's okay to use our bodies illegally. She's a good mom. She did not hurt anybody at all. And yes, she is a UE member. And Mandy is not one, and neither is Jessica Pace, and neither is Anthony Cias, because he let evil people drive his train to do the wrong thing and get away with it. Anyone else? No. All right. So now I also said I have references and everything that they've been trying to ruin in here with these videos that they sent out apparently. Like my family, none of them think that ever happened or nothing. But it's kind of hard to go up to somebody and ask like, hey, how do you think my parenting skills were or whatever, especially if they've already been inhabited by the evil CPS people who really thought this happened in real life. And we can prove it in here that it didn't happen. And my ex doesn't think it happens either. But the thing is that people who played the game know about the body wearing thing and that they can set you up in here, but only the people who played the game, which was the evil Game of Thrones, okay? Or people that may or may not have been on the DEA situation where they all played games and they had brood people involved in everything. And they're setting them up for failure too as like what is it? Population control or whatever. Yeah, it's just messed up. Because we do have people watching, but not all of them can reach their bodies on the ground, or if any of them. Or they're just too busy worried about their own privacy policies getting invaded, looking like they did something they didn't do, because it is back brains up here doing stuff. Their forward brains don't know what they're doing at all unless they come back down and tell themselves what they did in here. And most people can't reach their bodies on the ground. But I'm one of the people that you can. And I am the only one legally allowed to say I'm a UE member on the ground, because even the men that are over there in Portland are not UE members like us, because we are women up here with CPS helmets, and our mental connection with each other is not what we're not saying. So the DEA or whoever it is can look through someone's eyes illegally or sit in their body to follow them. They don't read their mind. They just quietly watch and reserve the right to not say nothing at all. So and my ID did scan CIA last summer. Code name, it wasn't Hark the Herald Angels Sing. It was I just lost it. And see, no matter what, either way, like, no, I don't have any privacy. There's people sitting with me all the time. So if I take a shit or if I whatever, like, I never shower. My feet stink. I look disgusting because I never shower or am able to take care of myself or nothing. And I'm a mom. This is just ridiculous. Anyways, Hark the Herald Angel Sing was something they sent me in an email last year, and it was an FBI investigation or whatever. But I never got the email. This one is a Hark the Herald Angel Sing 2, talking about how Tiffany has been taken away from her family for 2 years while they did these investigations through her eyes illegally and have never paid her. Not as an informant, not as a friend, not as a good person on the ground. Not only that, but not only have they given her brain cancer, but they're literally making her kidneys and her intestines fail. And she's bleeding out of her pee hole. She's an innocent fucking person who never hurt anybody and never asked for judgment or anything about her ever doing needles or any of that. And when you're synergized, if you do stuff on the ground like smoke a vape pen, the people above you can smoke it or take it and break it and all kinds of stuff and just ruin your freaking life. It is so frustrating when you have no money because you quit smoking cigarettes because you don't want to kill the people above you because they can die, the special ones on the front side of the moon, lions we're calling. The entities, yeah, they can die off cigarette smoke and stuff, and so can other people. But I quit using cigarettes and I do vape pen. And every time I do vape pen, I drink miracle water at the same time, which is Kangen water. And I think about it with my power source that this is not going to kill anyone and it doesn't kill these players or not. But still the ones above me use it to kill people and they don't want to get killed when I'm taking a hit of it. So they ruin it. So I have like 30 vape pens here and they're all ruined. Like I can't use them because of them up here just controlling my environment. It's not fair. None of them have helped me with money. None of them have helped me with nothing. And the FBI said there is a petty cash account that they could withdraw funds to help the mom who got off drugs 2 years ago and is leading by example for everybody else not doing drugs except for maybe smoking every once in a while for her brain cancer research and lethargy programs because they stole all of her life force and because she's bleeding out of her kidneys. and has no energy or nothing to look forward to at all. She's just miserable. So I don't ever want to be looked at somebody who smokes quietly by herself on the ground every once in a while, because I wasn't smoking at all until about, 4 days ago, because my kidneys are hurting so bad and I'm just like giving up on life, it feels like, because I hate this, that I can't ever get the fucking help that I deserve because of what they did. Because it's $1 million industry and they set me up. Right, so they set me up to catch this situation that I'm not supposed to catch. I've alerted enough women and enough everybody else in the sky. We're just waiting to see if the right people do the right thing. And I'm hoping I can get this video out to the right people and that they actually watch it. And I know it's easier to like love somebody who looks pretty or whatever. But right now I look like shit because, I've been crying all day and I don't get ready. My hair's greasy. And yeah, my hair is falling out of my skull because I'm also on life support chemotherapy over here, because one of the bodies that was keeping me alive that's in my lane that makes me shake when we get too close to him, he's on chemotherapy from the hospital. And that's when they used to steal life force from people who were dying, and it helps them die sooner because they don't want to live anymore. But they don't even need to do that, because my S corporation up here is the one that started fixing the life force thing with my women over here in the CIA, and over there in Arizona there were CPS workers and judges at the round table. And the round table is the one last summer who said they were going to give me money from the donations plate that wasn't embezzlement funds, because they used embezzlement money through my eyes, so you can't even tell who did it. It's just, anyways, point is, they were going to give me money, but they didn't know how to get it to me on the ground or something, or that they got disconnected and somebody else in here got it. So it's supposed to go to the ground now for Tiffany. She needs help. It's just depressing because when the people who are able to submit transmission for the game or whatever, they're the ones that are basically in charge, and we're not sure how far down it goes. And if they can make a new one to resubmit stuff, the right way, that's not against her, named Tiffany, and prove their innocence and prove it about Tiffany before they get whatevered in here or somewhere different. But the FBI is saying they're watching and they're paying attention to those cops. And if they don't do the right thing with this whole Tiffany situation, that they're going to get persecuted, because they were using the FBI software too. And the only reason why Tiffany didn't really represent the FBI in the beginning was because she felt betrayed by the FBI, because they're the ones that were in her brain that made the car disappear and made her scream or cry for like 3 minutes out loud. And then they gave her ISIM code tests and all this stuff with roaring waters and stuff. So she thought she's preparing to be an FBI agent or something cool with Katie up here. But it was really the CIA she was doing it for. And she just didn't know that she wasn't the one in here. They were just using her brainstems and her power source to do all this stuff. And I have 2 poems on my Facebook that talk about Callahan wants me warrants with a P, or and capital murders and stuff. That's the kind of stuff where I was being told that anyways, they came down the pipeline trying to arrest me in here when it wasn't me in here, to go to jail for that capital murder on a SWAT team member. And that's the one that I stood up for against the CIA, because I don't really know who this person is, but they didn't have the right to try to tell on anybody through my brainstems, because I've never been in trouble and I'm a mom. And it could get me killed on the streets of Portland. So I asked for plausible deniability for all my friends who I've seen, because because I'm not that. And my friends and everybody else don't know necessarily what's going on either. And this girl's crying because she's the one that set me up too. And this is Tony's sister, and she said she got the message too, and she doesn't know what to think about it either, because it wasn't even her doing it. It was someone else. Thank you.